Today we're going to be going over the symposium that we had recently here in Minneapolis. I'm not in Minneapolis, but about a month or so ago. And we're going to do a little review, and we've got some of our presenters here who are going to talk about what they talked about on the day. So we thank you for joining us. My name is BC Echo Hawk. I'm a member of the Pawnee Nation of Oklahoma. And on behalf of our SAMHSA cores, Maureen Madison and Jan Dunbar Cooper, we welcome you to today's webinar. So we really hope that you'll
So I am Salt Clan, and I am born for the Tangle people. My maternal grandfathers are Water Flows Together, and my paternal grandfathers are the Bear Clan of the Hopi tribe. And my name is Bobby Arthur, and I am a grantee technical assistant. And I will pass it to Candace.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Candace So, and I am from Mexico, but today I'm actually in Tucson, Arizona, and my clans are Shihan, Nishleta, Chini, Bashishi, Kiani, Dashachena, Kadina, Dashanella. I'm a grantee technical assistant with the Native Connection program, and then also TTA coordinator with the SAMHSA Tribal TTA Center. And I'm going to be facilitate today's webinar. So it's great to be here, and I hope you all are doing good today.
Thank you, Candace.
And I'll hand it back over to you, Bobby.
Thank you, Candace. Today we're gonna our objectives for today are to review the Native Connection Symposium that was held back in at the end of April, April 29th to May 1st. We had it in Minneapolis. It was an awesome experience. In today's presentation, we want to focus and highlight some of the events that happened each day to kind of give those that weren't able to attend a little brief look at what happened on each day of the symposium. We're also going to we were very fortunate this year to have a youth leadership track that was incorporated into the symposium. And so we're going to be able to take some time today to also look at kind of get a little overview of what that looked like for the youth that attended the Native Connection Symposium. Next slide. So day one on April 29th was, again, there was such a buzz in the air. There was so much excitement. There was a lot of anticipation for not only just the Native Connection staff, but there was also that excitement of all the participants that were getting ready to start the day one, to get ready to start the symposium. And on day one, we had a grand entry. And we wanted to show a little view of what that looked like on day one. So we have a little video we wanted to share with you about the grand entry.
Hi. I think Bobby, we lost connection with Bobby. Awesome. That was a really nice and grand entry. I really like that because there were just so many individuals that were there. Um, it was beautiful, and I'm glad that we got to share a brief video of that. So I'm gonna go ahead and move into day one. And so day one, as you can see here on the slides, this took place on April 29th. And we again started off with a wonderful grand entry with all of the participants that were there and the GTAs and then our supporting staff as well. In the beginning, we had really focused on implementing the GONA principles. And so this was more focused on the overview, which included, we had our MCs there and they introduced the norms, and we also did the little mapping location there. I think there in the video, there was individuals that were being able to share where they were coming from. And then we also talked about belonging. Did that in the morning, and then we also brought in one of our presenters, our grantees, Kyle Worrell, and which I think we're gonna go ahead and have him share his presentation. I'm gonna go ahead and hand that over to him here soon. So he's gonna go ahead and talk about the healing power of traditional games.
Actually, Candace,
And Kyle, you can go ahead and introduce yourself. Yes.
so before we start with Kyle, and I'm really looking forward to this, we had a little bit of video of some of Kyle's presentation on the day. So I'm going to share that right now so that you can see some of what he was able to do that day.
Goodness, Chish hat yedi yakeyok satini shingech inach kayak yuchatuasak lekach inach Kyle Worrell yuchatuasak shukacheri nachatzati shungukedi yedi echet. It's good to see you all. Good morning. My Tlingit name is Kayak, or my English name is Kyle Worrell. I am of the Shukacheri clan and child of the Shungukedi. However, I'm going to show you the 2-foot high kick. The 2-foot high kick was a form of sign language used in the Arctic, out on the tundra, and it was used to signal back home to the village of a successful hunt. Way before radios and cell phones, hunters used high kicks as a form of communication, and on a clear day you could see a high kick a mile away. And if I saw that high kick out there, that was my hunting crew saying they caught something, I'm going to go send out help. So there's a few varieties of high kicks. I'm going to start with the 2-foot high kick. So I'm going to start standing. In front of the ball, I'm going to jump off 2 feet, kick with both feet, and land. The objective for this game is height and balance. So you're trying to both kick the ball and then come to a balanced landing. In our events, the ball is raised in 4-inch increments. Everybody attempts this height. They have up to 3 attempts. If they make it in one of their attempts, they get to go to the next height. And it just gets higher and higher. So I'm going to skip a few rounds. So you can use a running start, that's allowed.
You can do running or you can't do a running start?
You can. Yep, okay. But you still got to jump off 2 feet. I think I got one more height in me. It's still 7-8 in Alaska, so I'm going to do my best. Woo!
So we'll hand it on over to Kyle now.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon if you're on the East Coast. Pull up my slide here. You should be able to see my slides. So I had the great opportunity to share my presentation on healing power of traditional games at the recent Grantee Symposium. Central Council Kleen Haida Indian Tribes of Alaska. We're a Native Connections grantee. I'm a tribal member and I work as the Youth Wellness Administrator. Our tribe represents over 32,000 Kleen Haida people worldwide, but our homelands are in Southeast Alaska, Tlingit Ani, as well as we have on the Prince of Wales, the southern tip is Haida, as well as Annette Island, we have a Tsimshian community. So I run the Youth Wellness and Prevention Program, and all of our programming starts with our tribal values. So this is where we build our foundation. Our elders have passed these tribal values down to us, and we've created a nice visual poster, and I've included some of the values here: respect for self, elders, and others, hold each other up, speak with care, strength of body, mind, and spirit. These are our tribal values, and this is how we begin forming our programming for our youth. To summarize our programming, we do community and family events. We do in-school programming, after-school programming, culture and wellness camps, and traditional games. We serve 21 different communities throughout Southeast Alaska, and we have significant tribal populations in Anchorage as well as in Washington. So the geographic range of our area is over 1,000 miles, and many of our communities are only accessible by boat or plane. So our tribal president, Richard Peterson, has asked us to meet our tribal citizens where they're at. And that means for our youth, that's the school. They spend a significant amount of their life in the school. So our partnerships with our local school districts is a really important part of our program. And so I've included kind of the headline here of our MOA with the Juneau School District. Our offices are based out of Juneau, our main offices, that's where I'm based out of. So we have a partnership with the Juneau School District to provide in-school programming and after-school programming, and being as accessible as we can to our tribal members. So youth wellness for us, it's really important. Well, how we see achieving this is instilling protective factors in our youth. We believe this will help lead them on a path to wellness. And so protective factors are connection to adults, positive connection to adults, building a safe, supportive community, letting them know that they are valued, that they matter in our community, engaging them out of school as well in meaningful activities, social emotional competence and self-regulation skills, cultural identity and connection, and access to resources. So some of our programs that we've done in the past and today, we have a Tlingit language instruction where we bring our elders into the classroom. Some photos of bringing our elders in, building that connection between the generations and that healing for our elders to return into our public schools in a very welcoming way. Our Native Youth Olympics program or traditional games program is one that's very dear to my heart. I started this program when I was in high school, and it had a profound effect on my development. And we hold this program up as a really amazing tool to connect our youth to their cultural identity and to instill cultural values of healthy living and community. So the traditional games are based on traditional hunting and survival skills that were played across the circumpolar north. I've included a few photos of some of the events. Other activities is bringing them out on the land, canoeing, subsistence activity, running, rock climbing as well. What's important about our traditional games is they're traditional and they're also a modern sport, but they're our own sport that was created through our traditional values. So there's significant differences from mainstream sport. Mainstream sport is often focused on winning. Our traditional games is focused on reaching your personal best and building on that. So it's about personal growth, and it's about coming together as a community, holding up our culture. And so we believe this makes a much healthier sporting environment for our youth. And we've been able to quantify this with studies to show the impact. So NYO stands for Native Youth Olympics. That's usually what we call it as an acronym. But our surveys have shown our program as an incentive to stay in school, improve grades, show a better understanding of a healthy lifestyle, seeing themselves as future role models, learning about Alaska Native cultures, developing healthy friendships. And in this survey, 206 reported they stopped or reduced the use of tobacco, drugs, or alcohol. So our surveys show really good findings. But what's important to me is the personal stories as we work with these youth. They've shared their stories with us and what the program means. So we've collected it. I have a couple quotes here that have been shared with us. One youth said, NYO, or what NYO means to me is a family that I never had. We're all about building community for our youth. Another youth expressed, I've grown up in a pretty harsh environment where not many people believed in me or supported me. In NYO, everyone supports each other and it's a much healthier environment. So I want to end my presentation with an invitation, and I gave this invitation at the Grantee Symposium, but I want to give it again because I would really love to see other grantees and other communities join us here in Alaska, Juneau, Alaska, for our traditional games. Our dates are set for April 10 through 12. And so there's some time that you can budget this in, and we provide housing. So getting to Alaska can be the expensive part, but once you're here, we want to take care of you. So we provide housing to our youth teams. We provide ground transportation, and there's a variety of different games, 12 to be exact, that youth can participate, ages 11 and older. And you also get to visit beautiful Southeast Alaska, Tlingit Ani. You get to experience our dance, our culture, and the traditional games of the North. I've already had other grantees reach out to me, and I'll be visiting the Lummi Nation and the tribe in Coos Bay, and I'm hoping they'll come to Alaska, but we provide several ways to get involved. So we have an annual coach training that's virtual, but as I mentioned, I'm getting some invitations from other communities. So if you'd like me to, myself or one of our other coach trainers, it's a potential possibility that I can do a visit. We also provide starter equipment. We're working on a PE curriculum as well. Thank you for letting me share. This is my contact. I'm always open to share my presentations or resources. And that's a summary of my presentation. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Kyle. It was amazing to see at the Native Connection Symposium. Amazed me. It was amazing to watch it in person. Something to see. And so with that, I'd like to go ahead and pass on to Candace.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Kyle. Great presentation, and thank you, Bobby. So we're going to go ahead and go into day two. Day two took place April 30th, and this one included a full day of powerful and meaningful discussions, and also trainings and workshops. a lot of networking opportunities. We were able to start off the day with the round, also known as the Alaskan Wellness Series. Um, so, but, uh, uh, uh,
Hey, Candace, I'm sorry. This is BC. You're breaking up a bit. You may have to go off camera just to, get a little more bandwidth there for yourself. But I'm going to go ahead and jump in and we'll look forward to you joining us a little later. But right now, I'm going to turn it over to our representatives from the National Indian Women's Health Resource Center. And you may not recognize that name, but they did the presentation on of the digital things that can happen with your kids when they're online. And it was a very popular session. So Shasta and Rachel, feel free to go ahead.
Osio Nagad, Rachel Dawadoa, Jalagi Skadogi, Oklahoma, Dojanella. Hello, everyone. I'm Rachel, and Shasta is here with National Indian Women's Health Resource Center. And we're going to give you a quick overview of what we did for day 2 alongside Homeland Security and Roscoe, the electronic sniffing dog.
We are located in Northeast Oklahoma, and we are in years 8 of our Native Connections grant, and we were happy to present with you guys. We started a partnership with Homeland Security about 5 years ago when we realized the need to address digital dangers that we're facing our youth, especially after COVID. We noticed a big need for it, and we did not have we didn't have the knowledge or the resources, but we knew it needed to be addressed, and we were able to make a partnership with the Department of Homeland Security. They have a great program and curriculum, and they were trying to get their message out, and they kind of needed a platform and a way to reach youth, and so our missions aligned, and that's kind of our story. We started in a small school in a small town and branched out to several schools within our county and then multiple counties. And then we presented in different states. And we mainly wanted to make sure that everyone knew about this resource because it is a free resource and anybody can bring this presentation to your community. And it is fantastic.
I will put it in the chat right now. It's a link to Homeland Security's Know to Protect. And you can request a presentation anywhere in the United States. Let's see. And along this same page, feel free to explore it. They have a ton of great resources. All right, it's in the chat. There we go.
And Roscoe is a ESD canine, which is an electronic storage detection dog. And they are used primarily to locate evidence on hidden devices where criminals don't want those devices to be found because they have evidence and they are able to locate those. And with that, they were able to sometimes get convictions, put criminals away, and also find evidence that leads to rescuing victims. And so Roscoe has a very important job, and sometimes he goes with us on our presentations. He is in a county over from where we are, and he likes to go and show demonstrations and also him and his handler, John Hanning, they were there. And Anthony Meter was our presenter, by the way, and they both did fantastic. Anthony Meter was there from the Department of Homeland Security. And so we just kind of partner sometimes, and we were fortunate enough to be able to bring everyone out. Roscoe did a demonstration while we were there. Someone hit a device, he found it and showed him what it was like. He's a pretty cool dog. He can find devices that are the size of your pinky nail that are hidden underground in blocks of water. They found devices hidden in a fireplace. Like after the police have gone through and swept, they'll send Roscoe in and he finds things that are very difficult or that humans can't be found with the naked eye. So he's fantastic.
And what we're trying to do is just get information out because it's a new Wild West world of digital out there. And we're trying to help everyone understand how to go through it safely, what dangers our kids are facing. And there's a whole list of them. But the good news is there's a ton of resources already to help us out. We've put together a toolkit with links uh, to all of our favorite resources, and I'll also put that in the chat.
And the
And
toolkit is for primarily for cyberbullying. And a lot of if you were to bring this presentation, we keep talking about it. It's called iGuardian, the one that the Department of Homeland Security offers. And it covers things like cyberbullying, suicide prevention, specifically with youth, but they also cover things like sexting, child trafficking, and other dangers while they're at it, and how to be a good digital citizen, how to be kind, and leave a good digital footprint for your future. They offer 3 presentations. They offer one for youth as young as elementary all the way through junior high or high school. And on those, we've just been partnering with our schools and we've actually integrated it into the curriculum in several of our schools so that they come back every year and are able to saturate and reach all the students over time. And then they also offer a community presentation for parents and caregivers or anyone who works with youth. And then we do staff development for teachers. And when I say we, that is something that you guys can bring to your communities anywhere in the United States if you reach out to the Department of Homeland Security and their Notice to Protect campaign.
just a quick story on how it's helped our small community. We've done this all over the United States, but we present at a very small rural school, and a girl had come forward saying that she was getting messages from a gentleman requesting some pictures. And come to find out that day, Anthony figured it out, got the laptop, and there was 2 gentlemen from New York that had a network of girls that they were contacting. So we don't know what our kids are going through, and they keep this stuff a secret. And we're just trying to open up conversation and get this out there to help our youth navigate this. And every time we present, we add another hour, 2 hours afterwards because cases just come forward. Hey, this is happening to my nephew. This happened to me. It's become such an issue that we're doing our own summit in September. And there, Anthony will speak. And if you've heard him speak, you know he's fantastic. He covers a heavy, heavy topic with honesty and somehow with humor. And he covers so many things within his presentation. You walk away just blown away by it. He's one of our presenters. Shasta, do you want to go over the other presenters?
I do. We have so it's called Guardians of Tomorrow, and basically we are going to be bringing in speakers to talk about topics, and this is geared towards people like you guys, like us in the prevention field, teachers and resource officers who are charged with protecting and keeping our youth safe from various issues. So like she said, we have Anthony coming, John Haney's going to be back with Roscoe and maybe some other canines as well. And then we are bringing in a couple speakers from Florida who are going to be talking about distracted and drunk driving. They have an amazing story, actually. And we also are planning to have a speaker come who was a trafficking survivor. And maybe some others, our local news station and a few other people will be coming in and speaking. It's going to be a great conference, and the cost is $100. And there's a link right here to register if anyone would like to go. We're taking the first 200 people that register, and we would love for you guys to attend if you can make it. It's at the Hard Rock in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I will say that anytime we do presentations and also at our summit, at the end, we always offer resources and information on how to, like things like if you need to know how to take a picture down, takeitdown.com, how to report, how to bring presentations to your area, what to do, who to reach out to if you need help. And it's a fantastic resource.
Yeah, and come out, hang out with us. Shasta and I will be there. It's at the Hard Rock. We're gonna have some fun in September, and you guys will walk away with a load of knowledge. It's also good for professional development and cleat hours. And then on day 2 is when we announced this event at the symposium. So we were thankful for that platform. But and thanks for allowing us on here to share with you guys and help get the word out.
Thank you.
And there's a link to the event in the chat too.
Feel free to share with anyone you think might be interested in going. We'd love to have you guys.
Awesome. Thank you,
Thank you.
Rachel and Shasta.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Hi, this is Julie. I just wanted to mention how much I appreciate them coming to share with our grantees and with everyone. I was able to see their presentation. They came to the regional site visit that we had in Arlington. I think it was last year, and it brought to my attention uh, this issue of protecting our youth online and all of the concerns and things that I wasn't really aware of. I mean, all kids have those, they have devices and they're online. And it just really helped open my eyes to see what it is that our youth need. So I'm just so thankful, and I'm glad we have the opportunity to be able to, we'll be able to host them. And I encourage everyone to get involved and get more information. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. And our Alaska friends, we're still trying to make our way out to you. Maybe we can come for the Native Games and see Kyle and do a presentation and get to see all my friends again from Alaska.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Julie. I really appreciate that. Sorry, I got disconnected earlier, but I believe I'm back today. So we're going to go ahead and move into our next presentation they're going to go ahead and talk about the Youth Leaders Track. And we do have Megan, Ray, and that's going to be here to share about that. Another presenter that was helping with this was Jill Lawson. So I'll hand it over to you, Megan.
Oh, thank you so much, Candace. Well, thank you everyone for joining us and being on. I was one of our facilitators for our Young Leaders Track. There was 3 of us that were able to all work together to create something really great for all of your young people. Jill Lawson and Leon Leader Charge were with me as we got to be on site. We had 34 young people from 14 different tribal communities that were able to all come together. And it was really great because I've been able to go to a lot of the different communities or seen some of them at different youth gatherings. And so to be able to see them all kind of in this newer role, kind of that next step, and really seeing them be excited to step into that serving role for community. So when we were thinking about what to do for them, I always want our young leaders to walk away feeling empowered, but also really understanding how important their role is and that they are needed. And so that was kind of my vision when we were coming up with what we're going to be able to do, with this opportunity of 3 days together. And so we really try to keep that in mind. On day one, that first morning session, we were in with all of the adults in the general session. That was something that we really thought about too, is not making it too separate from the adults. We really want them to work together, build off each other, not see themselves as, a different category, really seeing them at the same level as the adults that they're working with. And so really trying to make sure that we were trying to incorporate as many sessions or different times that we could be in the presence of the adults. So that morning session was for us to get to know each other, really be able to see who was all in the room. And then we started that afternoon session and that would have been our first session. So it was really big for us to take advantage of that time to really work on belonging, because since we had a short period of time and we were going to ask a lot from these young leaders, we really wanted to make sure that they felt safe and comfortable. So that first piece was really us being able to connect, network. We were able to have Miss Idella King that came in and really emphasized what Native Connection was. We had a lot of young people, maybe they're in the first week of their position, maybe they just came to represent their community as one of those young leaders, but not necessarily working with the program yet. And so for Idella to really be able to come in and explain, what is Native Connections? How does this work for community? And then again, that point of how much they're needed in order to make it be successful. And so we were able to kind of start thinking and dreaming about what could they do when they go back home, and where do they see themselves as a crucial player in that team for their Native Connections program. So from there, we were able to really get them to feel good. We gave them task homework of really trying to connect with each other, share a meal with each other. And then we also encouraged them to there was a couple of different community things going on, cultural community events. So we encouraged them to do that. On day two, we had our whole agenda set. We were really excited, but just like community, we were thrown a curveball. And unfortunately, we had some of our local young people who did have a loss that was relatively close to them. And that really caused the whole group to be able to feel that, to really feel that empathy, to feel that helplessness. And also just the reality of, this is going on in community. We're here for suicide prevention, and there's a reason why, and this is a reminder. And so from there, our team really focused on safety. And really trying to make sure that all the young people that were there on site were feeling like they had support, were knowing who to reach out to, and then also just really being able to take this time to talk about, this is why we want to start planning, this is why we need to have these different pieces in place in our own communities for when things like this happen. So I think the young people really were able to step up and get to a place where not only were they supporting each other, they were really thinking about community back home, but also really being able to say, how do I work through this feeling, of being uncomfortable, of feeling overwhelmed, of getting emotional, how do I work through this in a good way? And I think that was really one of the key takeaways for us as a facilitator group, was that not only were these young leaders resilient and went above and beyond for what we asked of them, but they also really made a point to constantly coming back to strengths and culture. And that was what I really loved, is we would process and debrief throughout the day on different activities, and that they really were able to always come back to those strength-based pieces. We also had a lot of different good things for the young people to access. We had a medicine table. By the third day, that last closing session we had with our young leaders, that whole table was completely wiped out. And that was what my goal was, really being able to see them use those medicines and ask questions, even if it wasn't of their area. So we had a lot of pieces. I know I'm kind of going through this kind of fast, but we also had a task of having to present out to that larger group on the last day. And so as we're going through day 2 and we're talking about, okay, there's a lot going on and we still have this hour presentation we need to figure out. For that day 3, it was really crucial as trainers that we were meeting the young people where they were at, that we were going to advocate for what they were ready for, but also encouraging them and letting them know this is something we can do. It seems scary, seems like a huge, thing we're asking of you, but we can get this done. And I think, for them to really put their heads together and come up with the flow of their presentation, it really came out as a story. And there was 5 pieces that they focused on. One was, what is the intention? Why are we here? Why, as young leaders, were they in this room brought together to do this work? And ultimately, it's to keep their relatives alive, right? To prevent suicide. So really that intention. Then they looked at really wanting to show who was all part of that team and how important it was to say each person's voice and acknowledge that each person in that room, whether they were the ones speaking or the ones that were more reserved, taking it all in, each person was needed and each community was needed. We went into why are we here and what are we up against? Ways to continue healing, really thinking about that next step when they get home. What's that first thing you want to do to really start bringing these different dreams and opportunities and all these things we've talked about during this time to life? So that was a big piece of their presentation too. And then what did they want the adults to walk away with? We had made the mistake of saying, what's that final message? And the young people were quick to correct us and say, this is not final, this is the first step. And I really loved that they felt that power to be able to, even for us, to be able to say, no, this isn't final. And I was like, that's what we wanted. I want you to question. I want you to ask questions. I want you to tell us what we need. So I think we had a really great young leaders track. I think this is something that definitely needs to be at any type of gathering, really making space for those young leaders and really making sure we're not calling them kids. A lot of us call them kids or kiddos, but really understanding these are young leaders. They are doing this work, whether it's for the program, whether it's in school, whether it's family, but they're doing that work. So again, thank you for allowing me to work with your young people. I hope I get to continue to do that and just see all the great things that they're doing because they're really pushing the limits on where we're going as tribal people. So thank you.
Wow, awesome. Thank you, Megan. I have to say that when the young leaders came back into our group on their final day, it was like pretty powerful on the things they shared and how they expressed themselves and uh, just that empowerment that they had. And it made me like what you just said, Megan. I think it's important that they do sit at the table with us because what their thoughts are and their voice is just as important as everybody else. So it was a very powerful presentation that the young leaders did for us. So thank you for all the hard work you and your team did, Megan. Thank you. And I think that takes us into day 3. So day 3, you can tell by day 1 and day 2, they were pretty full days. They were filled with a lot of presentations, a lot of good information. But in between, I'd like to point out that in between the sessions, in between during break times, all our grantees had that opportunity to meet one another. They were encouraged to maybe share a meal together or go out and explore Minneapolis together. So the behind the scenes was just as busy as what was happening during the day. And I think there was some newfound friendships that were made, some newfound support that was found. um, I think even some new buddies that were found with grantee to grantee. So it was a very powerful first and second day, which just kind of just made our third day just like even more exciting. Although it was the last day, it was still a really exciting. It was still a really exciting day. On day 3, we focused on um, as far as like when we're looking at Argona themes, we looked at focusing on interdependence and generosity. We had some really awesome, again, some really good discussion sessions among one another. We also had a sustainability panel on that day when there was a group of grantees that were able to share some information about their thoughts on how they were working towards sustainability. We also had our final our presentation from the Indigenous Peoples Task Force uh, when they came in and their youth group did this powerful presentation, and I wanted to go ahead and give them that opportunity to share a little bit of their presentation.
All right.
Did we have somebody from, is it Brianna?
Yep.
Hi.
Good to see
you
you.
again. Take it away, Brianna.
Thank you. My name is Brenna Deppis, and I'm at Indigenous Peoples Task Force. And so, yeah, it's been really fun to review the conference that we had here in Minneapolis, and just want to, yeah, say thank you to Megan. And I work with an intern group called Keep the Fire Alive, and so 6 of the those interns were part of the Young Leaders track, and I just really thought that was a valuable experience for them, and they were kind of going through a lot, and I just think that Megan and Jill and Leon, they were such really like strong, caring leaders, and I know that there were many other Native Connections team members that provided support. And so, yeah, just a wonderful piece of the conference. And so I'm also going to speak a little bit about the Akitawan Theater Ensemble. And so I've worked here at Indigenous Peoples Task Force for 15 years. And so I was part of the Ikitawan program when they first started. And so that was way back in 2011. And so I just want to emphasize like the amount of time and years that it takes to build to the place where we're at. And we saw those young actors presenting such a strong message and having those qualities that we hope for, like confidence and that kind of pride in their culture and display of their cultural teachings. And so here at Indigenous Peoples Task Force, we kind of have multiple youth programs that build on each other. And so the first program is called Wabenagay, and that really focuses on traditional medicines, cultural teachings, and a little bit about advocacy and like community policy development. And so some of my colleagues facilitate that group. And during that group, the youth learn about the tobacco ceremony and thinking about Beijigo Asema, so tobacco first. And so throughout all their years in IPTF programs, we always start with a tobacco ceremony. And so I think that that's just like a really powerful piece that connects them to their culture and then also shows them that everyone has a voice, and it also is a chance for them to connect with each other and understand what other people are dealing with that day, or they can celebrate good things together. And it's such a starting our group that way helps really build long lasting bonds. And so ideally, a Native teen might start at IPTF at 11 or 12 years old and then go through our multiple programs and then be an intern in the Keep the Fire Alive program when they're 19 or 20 years old and working in the community. And so the Aikido performance that you saw at the conference was called Our Songs Have Power. And I really like that title. I know that for me, one of the lasting memories that when I think about that piece is just the songs and to hear them sing songs in their traditional languages and to hear them singing together. There's a lot of like power in that, and it feels so hopeful and it just kind of makes you feel like everything is possible for them. And that story really talks about how you know we need each other, and we might kind of be patting ourselves on the back and think that we're wonderful, and we might not realize all the supports that we have in the world around us that are bringing that to us. And then also just that process of so much of it is about facing addiction and substance use and how that also affects almost everyone around us. And so I think that the youth, given their age, they're able to deliver this kind of like difficult message, but there's such a like hopeful piece to it. So yeah, I always feel honored to be connected with the Aikidoan group, and now we're sort of seeing how some of our young leaders who started out as Aikidoan actors, they are taking on facilitator roles and they're learning how to like coordinate with parents and run the groups and reach our goals throughout the year. And so I'm excited for all the possibilities and just that more Native youth can kind of find their voice and have that experience of being on stage and knowing that they have that ability to like speak in a room and to show their own how their cultural knowledge is connected to their daily life. So yeah, I don't know if anyone has any questions. I can put our maybe I'll put a couple emails and our website in the chat if you'd like to reach out. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you. That was such a great way to end our symposium with with the youth sharing and expressing themselves through song and through dance and acting, and it was really great. It was powerful, very powerful. Left me speechless. So yeah, it was great, great. And I think that was my second. I think that's the second time I've seen a performance, and so each time was, yeah, very powerful, very powerful. Thank you. Thank you to you and your team again for being there and taking part of the symposium.
Yeah.
So at this time, we're getting to the top of the hour. Do we have any questions for our presenters, from anyone who has who maybe didn't attend or maybe needs more information or wants more information on what was shared during the symposium? Feel free to come off mute or maybe share a thought. If you did attend the symposium, maybe you can share a thought. What did you think, feel, see at the symposium?
It's Martha here in Selwick. I didn't go to the symposium like I thought I would, but since I'm like kind of real busy here in Selawik, right now I'm dealing with a Title 47, trying to get them sent out to Manila for help. And I might email one of you to get more information on all this. And I just wanted you guys to know I'm getting off this Zoom so I can go back and see what's going on with the person that we have on hold.
Sure. Thank you, Martha.
Yep. So I'll email somebody and probably rewatch this whole thing because sorry I came on very late.
No problem. Work calls, Martha. Thank you for the work you're doing.
Okay.
Feel free to reach out to your GTA.
Yeah. Bye.
Hello, this is
Yeah, I'll do that. Thank you. Bye.
I just wanted to mention, I was able to see a kid when the previous presentation when we were at the RLC, Great Lakes Northern Plains, and yes, I was able to see it. But I wanted to, one of the things that comes to mind is, these stories. The story that they presented was very, very powerful, based, like a historical overview of how alcohol came to our people in those early years of early contact with their colonizers. And I wondered about how these stories are developed, because it touches on so many great aspects of our culture, and looking at history and the intergenerational effects of contact and of those things that we're dealing with now. So I just wondered, Brenna, if you could share a little bit on, where do these stories come from? Because it's really awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, Julie. Julie's quickly becoming close to Kitowin's #1 fan. So it's always, yeah, having support for the Kitowin program really means a lot. So thank you. And yeah, the stories, our script writing process, this particular play, our executive director, Sharon Day, had a major part in writing that story. And so, yeah, I think you shared an important piece of, so often we wonder, like, how did this happen? Like, why is substance use so prevalent, or why is alcohol here? And so Sharon did a lot, wrote a very large part of that script. And then we also just really always include our youth, whether we do different sort of discussion, brainstorming activities to get their own life experiences or stories. And we also look at our ensemble and see what are some of the strengths of this group. And so there's some really beautiful singers in our group right now. And so that piece is just so rich with music. And I think those two things fit together. And yeah, so I guess the stories come from just stories that are kind of passed down, and then from our group sharing things they've heard from their families or just observations that they see.
Thanks, Brenna.
Yes, thank you, Brenna. That was, again, those presentations are something else. They're just amazing, amazing work that you're doing with your youth. Are there any other questions or comments? And say my chat here.
Bobby, I noticed that earlier Emma had made the comment that they have used the Homeland Security folks in Caddo County, and I was wondering if maybe she could share a little bit about how that process went for her. She says they're having them come back every year, so if she's still on. She might not be on anymore.
I don't see her on.
No.
She reached out, and
Okay.
and now at the beginning of each school year, a presenter just stays all day long and presents to the school and does a presentation every hour. And the presentation that you
Wow.
see at the symposium is for adults, but when we do it for kids, it's geared toward teenagers, and we even go as young as second grade. And of course, we cover different topics that are age appropriate. But yeah, so when they say it's incorporate into their school, that's what we'll do. We'll start off each school year, just here's how we're going to handle our phone policy here. And we do a deep dive with the school admin, and it helps. It really, really helps those kids. BC, I have just a quick story, if that's okay.
Sure, please.
So Anthony had presented at one school, and he always he calls it his bat phone. If you were at his presentation, at the end of his presentation, he always gives his government phone number out. And but he always has that phone on him. And he gives that out to the kids. Hey, if you see something, if you need help with anything, feel free to call this phone. One day he might have been on his way to a presentation, and he gets like a text from two different students from the same school saying, I was added to a Snapchat. I was added to a Snapchat group that are sending nude pictures, and I didn't want to be in it. Someone just added me. So he's like dealing with it on his way down, getting people to that school. And then after he sends someone to that school, a different school close to 25 miles away, another student that he had presented at sends him a text too. Hey, I was just added to this Snapchat. I don't know what to do. And before Anthony arrived to his destination, he already had people at both of the schools found the kid who did it and got it all shut down. So us being in the schools is ideal, because that's where everything's happening. The kids are on ground level with this information, and it helps save so many kids from a bad scenario.
That's great.
Wow. Wow. What an impact that makes.
Yeah. And there's a million stories like that, but thanks for letting me share that one.
Thank you for sharing. Do we have any more questions or comments? It doesn't look like we have any more comments or questions. Do you see anything, BC?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we can go
Well,
ahead and wrap it up.
yeah. Well, I would really want to say thank you to everyone who participated in our NLC today. If you have more questions regarding the NLC, specifically the symposium, please feel free to reach out to your GTA, and they can get you connected to providing more information. I believe it's also in the Native Connections Resource Center, where you might be able to find more of the links to some of the videos and presentations that were at the symposium. So I want to thank you all for joining us today. It was a great discussion, as it always is, and I appreciate everyone, and I wish everybody well, and be blessed, and have a great week. Thanks, everybody.